Hi, I'm Lael McPhill. I'm the maker of Silly Millies Polymer Clay Millefiori Canes. Silly Millies are little chunks of clay that come in a package like this with all the information about how you can slice and bake them and make them into beads, buttons, magnets, all kinds of other crafts. But I'm going to show you right now just a few basic techniques. So, a small Silly Millie is about 2 inches long and the diameter of about a dime. A large Silly Millie is about 2 inches long and about the diameter of a quarter. You can just simply take your cane right out of the package and use a thin blade. Anything like this, a X-Acto knife works, or these are scraper blades for wallpaper removing. I also sell these same blades on my website under the accessories. So you can slice it any thickness you want. If you're going to make bead bracelets for beads, you just slice it and about maybe that thick or thicker, and then use a toothpick. I usually poke through horizontally, but of course if you're going to make maybe earrings, you might want to go through vertically. So you just hold the bead in your hand and poke through with the toothpick till you feel the poke just barely through on your finger. Then I usually poke through on the other end, and it makes a really nice little hole. And you don't have to leave the toothpick in. You're ready to be baked up. So what I do is I bake on just a regular pan with maybe like a piece of paper or parchment paper in your regular oven. If you want to make buttons, you can take any size of cane you want. I like to use this large size, and slice thinner, and then poke holes right in the front. 2 little holes makes a nice little button. Of course, if you wanted to do a pendant, you would slice thin, poke holes right in the top. You can see how easy it is to slice. Sometimes after you slice, it might turn less circular, but all it takes is a little bit of adjusting and you can make it more circular again. So another thing you can do with Silly Millies is you can change the size. So let's say you have a large size cane and you want to make it even larger for something like magnets. Now you can take it and warm it up just by getting it going like this. It's kind of like just keeping it in your hand sometimes is all you really need to do. A little bit of rolling and a little bit of patting this way. And eventually when it gets soft, you can set it on end and pat it down like this. And there you go. Slowly but surely, the whole entire cane will get larger in diameter. Now, if you wanted to go even larger than that, you could cut a thicker slice and use a rolling pin or anything cylindrical, like I really like to use just a Crayola marker, works great. And I just gently roll over, and you can see how you can get it larger and larger, especially by going a little bit in both directions. So I went from this, about that diameter, to this diameter, just like that, easy as can be. Of course, it's also really easy to make it smaller. So I've got one of my small canes, maybe I want to make really tiny little beads. I can warm it up just by kind of holding it in your hands, doing a little bit of rolling it, and eventually when you feel that it's pretty soft, you can gently roll the whole entire cane, just like that. If it's a square shape or a different shaped cane, you might want to do more of a pulling, rubbing your fingers down the edges. And eventually, it just gets smaller and smaller. And you can get teeny tiny little pictures. And you'd be amazed how small you can get it to be. Just remember, when you're baking, bake everything on a piece of paper in your oven, and make sure your oven is at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I always recommend using a oven thermometer and checking your temperature to make sure that it gets to that temperature and doesn't spike up any hotter. Any hotter than 300 degrees and you'll smell a very bad plastic burning smell. You want to turn off the oven and remove yourself from the room because those fumes are very unhealthy. So be careful about the oven temperature and bake for 30 minutes and you'll have great success with your Silly Millies.